Hi everyone and welcome back to Remarks with Republicans, but today is Friends of Remarks with Republicans. I'm Colin, and in this series I talk with people who share Republican values, support communities, and serve the public in different ways. Today I'm joined by Judge Long. Judge Long is a Republican who is currently running on the independent ballot this election cycle. We're going to talk about his journey into the legal field, his path to becoming a judge, and what public means to him. Let's get started.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, Yeah. Whoa, hey.
Remarks with Republicans is starting right now. Judge Long, thank you for joining us. You're currently serving as an associate judge and are now running for a seat Judge Raymond Kavanaugh will be vacating. What made you decide to take this next step?
Well, first of all, Colin, thanks for having me. Glad we could finally make this happen. Well, I think one is kind of a natural progression. So I'm an associate judge now, and I think it's kind of a natural progression that you get some experience, learn who you are as a judge, and then maybe move on to circuit judge. But I've also, in everything I've ever done, whether it's been for a not-for-profit or even managing a law firm for 16 years, I've always taken leadership positions. So I see myself in those positions, and there's also things that I want to do for our circuit to help make things more efficient. The example I would use is right now I'm on a committee dealing with court reporter rules and procedures, and they haven't been updated since 1999. So we're working on updating those now. So things like that I want to take on and do that you don't really do as an associate, because circuit judges make policy for the circuit and make the rules, those kinds of things.
For those who may not know you yet, can you tell us a little about your background and how you ended up becoming a judge?
Sure. So I'm from Galesburg, Illinois, born and raised there. My wife's from there. Both of us left the area very briefly just to go to school, got our professional degrees, and we both came back in 2008, got married in 2007, and we've lived in Knox County ever since, raising our two boys. I had a law firm in the circuit here, practicing in every county in the circuit for about 16 years. Driving all over the place, doing those things. And eventually in February of 2024, I was selected by the circuit judges on a first vote. What they do is they get applications and they interview people. You go around and talk with all the judges, and then they cast a vote. And on the first round of voting, I was appointed as an associate judge. So I've been doing that for the last 2 years.
What first made you interested in law and public service?
That's a good question. That goes back a long time, too. So as far as the law goes, I would say, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but my parents always said that even as a young kid, I used to argue everything from the time I was in diapers. So they knew I'd make a good lawyer. And I had a teacher in junior high, Phil Erickson, who I talked to at one point, he kind of said the same thing. I was really good at arguing about everything. And he encouraged me to be a lawyer and look at those things. And I've always liked helping people, so kind of that adversarial situation with lawyers where you get to argue and try to make your points. I liked debating, I liked debate team, those kind of things when I was a kid, but I also like helping people. I've always done that, and I've always been in public service. When I came back to the area in 2008, one of the first things I did was volunteer for the Children's Museum in Galesburg to help install their new playground equipment. And ever since then, I've been on all kinds of boards, whether it's Galesburg Community Foundation or Carl Sandburg College Foundation or Discovery Depot Children's Museum or the Knox County YMCA. I've just always enjoyed serving. This community has given me so much, and I just want to give back.
What experiences helped prepare you for becoming a judge?
My law practice, really. I mean, for 16 years, I was an attorney, and I did everything but bankruptcy. Every area of the law, whether it was business or civil litigation, personal injury, insurance defense, family law, criminal law, kind of a little bit of everything. And I also, for 7 years, I was the administrative hearing officer for the city of Galesburg. So I actually sat in kind of a judge role as a hearing officer for people who got dangerous dog citations or parking tickets, that kind of stuff, a little bit of everything. And that was an experience that really kind of trained me to be on the bench, and I loved it.
What have you learned during your time as an associate judge that will help you as a circuit judge?
I think the biggest thing, really, it's kind of a simple answer, is I've learned what kind of judge I am. And I think that's huge, especially if you're going to be a circuit judge, because it takes a little bit of time. The first time you put on a robe and walk out in the courtroom, it's a little intimidating for the judge too at your first time. So I've kind of learned who I am and how I handle my courtroom and how I treat people. And I think that's really been the best thing I've learned. It's really trained me to be a circuit judge. Who I am, what kind of judge I'm going to be, and what kind of judge I am.
What motivated you to run for this particular judgeship when Judge Kavanaugh retires?
It's one of the things that I had said from the get-go that I would do. So when I was looking to be an associate judge, they were all asking me in every interview, do you want to be a circuit judge? Will you be a circuit judge? Because they want to recruit associate judges willing to do that. And I said, absolutely. So one, I'm fulfilling kind of a promise. I said I would do that. But two, like I said before, I've always been in leadership roles, and I want to be in a leadership role. There are things that I want to do, whether it's right now being on that court reporter committee I talked about, or the technology committee for the circuit, helping with getting technology grants, what kind of Zoom software and things we use in the courtroom. I want to keep moving those things forward, making our circuit more efficient, and kind of caught up to the times, and update those policies that haven't been touched for 25 years. So I want to be in a leadership position.
What qualities do you believe are most important in a circuit judge?
Well, there's a few. I would say, obviously, experience, legal knowledge. You kind of got to know what the law is and how to do things if you're going to be a judge. But that's something you can also learn. So obviously, most lawyers out there who practice for years, they have some kind of basic legal knowledge and understanding. They went to law school for 7 years. They've practiced. And you can learn those things on the bench, too. But I think the two most important traits that maybe you can't learn are really integrity. That's really important, and empathy, because we want to have people trust in our judicial system, trust in the judges and the system itself, and I think you really have to have that integrity and that empathy. You have to understand what people are going through when you make decisions, because there's a human side to it, not just a legal side to it. So I think those are three really important traits.
This election you're running as an independent due to a filing deadline issue, even though you said you're a Republican at heart. Can you explain that in terms for voters?
Yeah, honestly, the whole thing's a little heartbreaking. Because it's one of those things where, as a conservative person with conservative values, I plan to be on the ballot as, a party. But the way things have worked out, I'm the kind of guy that looks forward, so I'm trying to move on past it. I'm going to have to run independent. There were some deadline issues between when the vacancy was actually announced versus when you had to file, and I relied on some advice, and frankly, we just got it wrong. So it's a little heartbreaking that I won't be on the ballot as a party, but as an independent. But again, got to move forward. I think this is the best thing. I'm the best candidate, and it doesn't change who I am, whether I'm running as a Republican or an independent. I'm still Chad Long with the same values, the same strengths, the same traits. I'm just going to push forward.
How should voters focus on your values and experience rather than the party label on the ballot?
Again, I think ultimately, while it would have been great to be the party that I identify with on the ballot, ultimately, I think you got to look at who's best for the position. And honestly, I think judges should be independent, because I've said it many times, whether speaking in front of crowds at candidate forums or in interviews like this, whether I'm a conservative man with conservative values, when I'm on the bench, that's not what's important. What's important is that I'm independent, I'm impartial to everyone, and my personal beliefs or my politics shouldn't influence the decisions I make. So I think really when it comes to judges, you should focus on who they are, what their values are, and what their strengths are, not necessarily what party they're associated with.
You received some good-natured ribbing around the circuit about the ballot situation. How have you taken that?
Well, I think it actually kind of helps. Like I said, it's an unfortunate situation, but I don't want to look back. I want to move forward. And I've always had a good sense of humor and a self-deprecating sense of humor where I've got no problem making fun of myself and my own slip-ups and things. And the camaraderie I have around the circuit with other judges and staff, like circuit clerks or court reporters, we all know each other. And, we do give each other a hard time about everything. So I kind of had to expect it. And I've kind of taken it in stride. There's some other vacancies that are going to be coming up with judges who are retiring, and another judge said he may be running, and I, jokingly offered to him, since I'm such an expert on deadlines now, I'll help run his campaign and make sure he gets things filed on time. So just take it in stride.
Does having a sense of humor help when working in the courthouse?
Absolutely. Going into a courtroom is stressful for everyone. I mean, it's stressful for obviously the litigants, the people who are there, who have things going on in their lives. It's stressful for judges too. It's stressful for the people who work in the courthouse. Oftentimes you're dealing with people that are not having their best day. And a sense of humor at the end of the day, I think whether you work as a judge or an attorney, or whether you're a police officer or someone working behind the counter at a Casey's gas station, having a sense of humor helps everyone get through the day.
What does that kind of camaraderie say about the people who work in the circuit?
It says that we all get along. I mean, you have to have some camaraderie with the people you work with. Again, whether you're working at a gas station or a Walmart or in a law firm or in a courthouse, people have to figure out ways to get along. And the camaraderie is a big part of that, because these are people that you see every day, that you work with, and you rely on each other for your jobs. So getting along is a big part of that. And I think our circuit, especially in West Central Illinois, we're not a Cook County type scenario where there's hundreds of judges and tens of thousands of staff. It's a small, tight-knit community. At the end of the day, we all have to get along and be friendly with each other. So it speaks volumes. We have a good group of people here in the Ninth Circuit especially that work together well and make for a good judicial system.
How would you describe your courtroom style to someone who has never been in front of you?
That's a really good question. It's kind of hard when you're looking at it from the inside, because others who sit in a courtroom with me might say something different. But, attorneys, deputies, they do talk to me kind of about my personality and my style, and I would think really patient. My courtroom is very patient and very efficient. I want to keep cases moving. I don't want things to take a year and a half to get a case resolved, that kind of thing, so I like to set deadlines. But I'm very patient with people, especially this day and age where a lot of people who come into my courtroom don't have attorneys. They're what we call self-represented litigants. So I try to have a lot of patience and move people through things in an efficient way so that they can get the relief they need or want without having to wait a year and a half. And that's how I try to manage my courtroom.
What do you think makes a courtroom fair and respectful for everyone involved?
Listening. Using your ears. That is the biggest thing. At the end of the day, when I have people there for a court case, I want them to know that I listened to what they said, or they see me writing it down, and then when I give a decision, I tell them exactly why I did what I did, applying the facts they gave me to the law, so that they know I listened to them, they were heard, and I made a decision based on the facts in front of me in the law, not just because they wore, a certain dress that day or a shirt. I'm not making decisions randomly.
How do you balance following the law while still understanding the human side of cases?
That can be difficult. So, like I said before, a lot of people, when they come to the courthouse, when they're in the system, they're not there having a good day, right? They've got a traffic ticket, or maybe they're going through a divorce, those kinds of things. So there can be the balance of that. As a judge, I said before, one of the important traits is empathy, and that's where that comes in. I can understand and feel for someone and understand the situation they're going through while also applying the law. And that's why I think it is so important to make sure you tell them why you're making the decision you're making, so they don't think you're just doing it because that's what you want to do. If they understand why you're doing something, sometimes they may not be happy with the result, but they can understand it, and that's very important.
If elected, how do you see your role within the circuit beyond just your courtroom?
Well, like I said, I've always looked for leadership roles. I'm hoping to get more involved with having a vote in those decisions about the rules and policies that apply to the circuit. Also, wouldn't ever rule out being a chief judge of the circuit and getting more involved higher up on some of the committees, like with the Supreme Court, that are available. I really want to just move things forward and help improve our circuit for the people that we serve.
How important is teamwork with clerks, attorneys, and court staff to keeping the courts running smoothly?
Super important. It's kind of like a family. You've got siblings, you've got a mom and a dad, and you want to work with them to keep things going smoothly in the household. That's kind of how it is really in a lot of jobs, and especially in the courthouse. I mean, I am very reliant on my clerks who get all the filing done. who bring me my files, who make sure I know what's going on day to day on my docket. I'm relying on the court reporters who are in there every day and they do transcripts for me. I rely on my staff. We have an administrative assistant for the judges that helps with our scheduling and all those kind of things. It's very important we all work together and get along, because otherwise the system does not run smoothly for the people we serve.
What does earning public trust in the judicial system mean to you?
I think it goes back to that impartiality. I think especially in recent years, there's been a loss of trust in the judicial system, and I want to help restore that, and that's why I say I think it is so important when people come before you, they're treated fairly and with respect, that when they come in front of me, they know that no matter where they're from, what their background is, whether they're rich or poor, they're going to be treated the same. And I'm going to take the facts they give me in a case and apply them to the law, and I'm going to tell them and explain my decisions. I think that is huge in restoring trust in the judicial system, and that trust is key. I don't think we have a judicial system that works if the people out there don't trust it.
What are you most excited about if you're elected as circuit judge?
Well, that's a good question. I don't really know about excited, because as an associate judge, not much will really change for me as far as my day-to-day. I'm already doing the work. I'm on the bench in Knox County. Right now as an associate, I could be assigned anywhere in the circuit: Knox, Warren, Henderson, McDonough, Fulton, Hancock. As a circuit judge, I could be assigned again in any one of those counties. Really, the only thing that changes for me is going to be more of that administrative role. So right now as an associate, I'm more of an employee. So the circuit judges are my bosses. So I guess really it's kind of a step up. I'll be more of my own boss then, working with the other circuit judges, but able to have a vote and more guidance on the policies here in the circuit. So I'm excited about being able to do that. That's why I want this job.
What do you hope people will say about your service years from now?
I'm not a big personal achievement guy. I'm not looking to leave some kind of legacy where people think back about the days of Judge Long. I'm more hopeful to just when I'm off the bench, whether I'm retired or I'm gone from this world, that people just remember I did a good job. That's what I want to do. I want to do a good job. I want to do a good job serving the people in our circuit, and I hope that's what they'll say about me when I'm done with this job.
Coffee or energy drink?
Ooh, energy drink. I love a good black coffee, but lately I've been a little stuck on those Alani energy drinks. Got some good flavors.
Early bird or night owl?
Ooh, night owl. I am not good about getting up early in the morning. If I got to be somewhere at 8:30, I'm getting up at 7:30, as late as I can. But I'll stay up all night if I have to. Last night, I think I finally fell asleep around 3 a.m. Sometimes my brain won't stop. I can't stop thinking, and it's hard to sleep.
Favorite courthouse snack?
Ooh, it's really bad. The vending machine in Knox County in the basement has Ruffles, cheddar and sour cream chips. Not good for you, but every once in a while I'll go down and sneak some of those.
Paper files or digital files?
Digital. I'm a big tech guy. It's kind of why I'm on the tech committee for the Ninth Circuit. I use what's called a Remarkable. I don't know if you've seen one of those. So it's like a digital writing. That's how I take my notes and I organize my files. Email, digital files on my computer. I'll sit there with my laptop on the bench and look at files on the digital system, even when the paper file is sitting right next to me.
Favorite way to relax after a long day?
Read a book. Sit in a chair at home or lay propped up in bed and read a book.
Favorite local restaurant?
There's so many. So I'm a big fan of really any Mexican or Latin American food. I could eat Mexican food, tacos, pretty much every day of the week. Big fan of, it's like every single one in Galesburg. Jalisco's, El Rancherito, Guacamole Grill. I'll go to all of those. I love Mexican food, really anywhere.
If you were in law, what career would you have chosen?
Any career?
Any.
Or one that's actually viable. My kids, this day and age, young kids, you're into technology and you've got your YouTube channel. My kids are into that kind of stuff. They're into games, and I think they inherited that from me. honestly, I know as a judge, I'm seen as more of a professional person, but I play video games too. And if I had a dream career that I could just go do whatever I want, I'd somehow find a way to make money playing video games with my kids.
Favorite holiday?
Ooh, Christmas. I love that time of year. I am not a summer guy. Controversial, I know, but I love snow. I love cold weather. A little cold in this room right now. I'm not enjoying that, but I do love cold weather. I love the Christmas season, Thanksgiving to Christmas. That's my time of year. That's my jam. I love that.
Favorite way to spend a weekend?
With my kids, we're busy. As you know, you get around, you do stuff. You're doing these kind of things on your weekend. I've got kids that are in Scholastic Bowl, wrestling, cross country, track. So a lot of times we're on the go on the weekends, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's good to be busy and good to be making those memories with my kids.
And final one word to describe your courtroom style.
I think the biggest, the best word I can use to encompass kind of everything about my style would be respect. Because it's a simple word, but it goes both ways. I respect the people in my courtroom, they respect me, and that helps restore kind of the faith in the judiciary and the system itself.
Thanks for speaking with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to finally do it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Colin.